Okei. Ei taamiks kannaatuni. Ahseks kannaatuni. Ei taamu aapinakko. Good morning, everybody. Family welcomes you to the celebration of our mother, grandmother, aunt, cousin, Linda. Naatsika poitsipi. Kiniksinits ksinaya piipi. Tsitsinaksinsipi. Today we'll have a list of speakers to pay tribute, and most of them are grandchildren. And the family appreciates all your presence here today. It means a lot. Those that have lost mothers, you know the feeling. And so we acknowledge your presence in supporting us today. We miss each other. So with that, I'm going to say the prayer. And those that can pray in your own way, I'm not the only one that calls to a higher power. We all do at some point in time, whether we want to admit it or not. Miss Yellow old woman 8 p.m. 92 years old. Oh, it's Sylvia. It's Sylvia. Ook niet agatsumu. Ayo istipata piop. Ai kitochatsukskaninch katsumatpinana kaksistikuikak. En ik nog kitoot time mag pinana tsumuiskan. Ai nog atsikakskochsakinanak. Anoch kisiskoin ni kakanan stoa pi tama pi naskuhki tapiskochs pinnan. Anoch kakisapoch kanata natsikapuitsipim niksistinanakak. O kahki tama no yennikak hutsika issumutapak naasinnaik saapi kussiaki. Unstiks ochsissiks oosiskak. Oku utsitapimiks ukoosiskak. Se päätä piupikaakan nikaini tokska. Eikö kitout taimah pinnaan aatsemuiskaan. Enikaak nahkohtsa pojastis pinnaan. Eikö kaapa jaapi ansa tootsis pinnaan. Enikin tohkan seeksu kommotsis pinnaan. Kimmukinnaan ja spummukinnaan se päätä piuk muuksi ossukoosiksák. Ei taaphtsis senä. Enikikkinitaksenikaan. Ai kaak muuksessa kuosiksi, utsista puissa kuosiksi kaak. Essorti kaak vaikkissa mäsksen okaa. Äskohtsa puhpinaan niin kaak tanssista oispinaan. Nahkai kaaki mahsinaan. Nak suomeen mahsinaan. Ooki kaak nakskohkai iks kuutsiisinaan. Ai se päätä piupikaak. Ika kooniksessinaan nohpitskikkinaan. Eli knahkuhan staapa ei päätä piispinnaanikaak. Eli knahkuhan staapa apatuusena nuukunnansaak. Eli puutakseniskeni maatstoksenikaak. Ai se päätä piupa anskeen nohpitskikkinaaniksestenaan. Malakonossa kiitsiipinnaanaatsiksaak. Ognistunnanaana niknohan sistoaispinaaniksestenaan. Naksistapanissin nahkuu tääpumma katuupinnaan. Ei sitä matsta katuupinnaan niin päätä piossanikak. Ooki kaakenikak, utseeki tapiossanikak. Ai nohkits piomaa piukoosiksi, utsista puissakuus. Nohkits pippitaakiokak. Eikö piksimats pinnaanista päätä piopikaakenikak, johan se kitkoksena nohkan se samukpukaa päätä piimaksenaan niksistinaan. Ooki kaakeniksu kaapiinikak naa tuoksukuikak, spatsikahkuikak. Hahki taamitou taatsi, meniks kutsi kaissumuta paakikak. Ani ka nasu ka pi ka papo ka naskokse papeno na no mata pi papeno nexistina nasistix kyakyo. Ai takan si takan ni ka ki papo ka laani kinanakse umasoaksi taksinna. Akumen stai ka ki maksinna. Ai se pato pio pikina ki tokan stakataki inchikatsumata ke o kana kom kina ki pitaki no kai sound ka ka to matsumuika. Ke mo kina ni spomo kina na ka ksistikoi. No kunnan sak. Ani no kan iskni pinna iskni yo ksoa kina ni ksisna kini ka nasko ka ita pi ni pinna. Iskana tsstoa tsumuika no kunnan ska. Eni kanajaksin, ei kanajakkan ja kinnokak, hästä katanan wakatsimuiskaan. Hänsko tatsimuiskaan, skak nakskuhkaa, ittaa pieni pinnään. Äskohtsa pohpinaan, eni kamuhsukoi, nyt kusukoisku muukinnaanaaki. Aikaaka kimmukinnaan, istse päätäpiopikaaki. Ooki kaiken hajaks, tyinno kipstaapi, ookenak maatkut tuo. Ako katsi taukin niitä kuunikas pinnaamaa naaksi kuunskui. Asko katsi taamas tuumkatuikista komispinnaan. Okeni kaaksi puikista kui puikaakmaa naaksaski mukui. No kuusen naiksaak, nyssä kuusen naiksa ako katsi taami taats kuikaasia maa naaksaski mukui. Okeni kaaksi puikaa kukaatsas. Kana omiassa tui, ahka nitäiksi. Käskokpatse muiska ja naatsika puitsimi. Hiika käätä piisksinoi, oki kohatta käätä piisksinoi, utsksinoi, uutta piissin. Oken yksi kuta akuussemmäiksi kaikki. Kemmukin naanis, pummukin naanis, se päätä piupikai. Ja ne kirkon sitä paakamansa kaksista kui. Kemmukin naanis, pummukin. Okin nää piuasen. Kaamutaan. Ahsi päätä piusin, mi sami päätä piusin. Säästävatsemaan kaamutaanikkaakin. I'm going to call people and just nod your head. I know some of you spoke last night very warm-heartedly. I'm going to call on our aunt now, who is going to be the grandmother or one of the daughters to represent Claudia if she's unable to come up, to say a few more words. It's just like we're not having enough of Claudia. And so kikon, kijk say akutsi naksi, pues tsach niksi kitaniks. Kijk say yeah, come on up. Let's bring her up to. If you're going to say something, then you're going to say what she wants to do first. We'll use this one here.
That'd be good to talk about. Say the prayer.
You talk, Mom.
All right.
You talk. I just wanted to encourage you to talk.
Okay. Aioni naapstukia. Anuks pomo kinnanan panun tuat atsumuika. Atsumuika minnani. Anuks pomo kinnanan niskana utske. No taswa siitä pinnani taaksista puhsini. Ninsta. Ais pomo kinnan. Ikska ikon. Nannisiksi noha nannistäiksemistä pinnani soa siitä kinnan. Se mikä sitä pipu sitä nikä itä pakeita puunin tapuan I tama pi kita puniksusta kinina ais pemukinan nakitung isungaksim pinan nakitsuatu mamai kini takipinan it's pemukinan nakakasikukai ikatsmu nakutteksim pinan matat taapassuat nuksahkuja katapu annis katapu piska I taama piiski taamsahkuika ja ispomukinan kanei iksiinisan niksu ngannanikskin kuussiksi kiussu kuussiksi kitistä puhsu kuussiksi ispomus awan kaksi mikä kanavaatsumu ihkoupa akitsuattumaa isovahsiitakin jopa kitskni utitapuksni ni taamskakkujiin ja kita puhunnana kiniksistennaan ait pumuutsa tukinong ikakukkaung maitu pinnaan kakukitlet ititipsak
Well, Mike just asked me to say a few words, so on behalf of my grandmother's family, we'd just like to say condolences to everybody, to all the Bruised family here, all the children, all the grandchildren, all the aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, all the friends here. Na'a meant a lot to us. She meant a lot to my grandmother. She will sorely be missed. But as I was thinking last night about Na'a, all I can think about is Igaki me. Continue to try hard. I know when I talked with Linda, she was always telling me about prayer and trying hard. And that's what I'm going to take away from her. And I encourage everybody else here today to Igaki me. Try hard. Pray. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get through these times. Try to love one another and be kind to one another. And again, thank you for having us here. And again, condolences to everybody and much love sent to the Bruised family. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Christina had to quickly run to her house. Is she back? If not, I'll go to the next tribute. Edith's daughter will represent Harriet and her family. Edith, if you want to come up with your daughter. And these are, Harriet is Na'a's aunt. And I understand she's in her 90s. And one of the oldest members of the wild side. So that way all the guests here will kind of know how we're all interconnected. Come on up, Pusapun.
Okay, my name is Megan Wells. So I have a few things to share with you guys, and I stand before you all on behalf of my grandmother, Harriet. Sorry. So we referred Auntie Sylvia, Auntie Linda, and my grandma as the Golden Girls. You know, they did everything together. There were so many precious memories that they shared, and The one that I specifically loved was they went on an elders trip to Banff, and they rode the gondola. And as they were going up, Auntie Linda was so thrilled and excited, and so she hops in, and Auntie Sylvia was just Auntie Sylvia, and Grandma was completely terrified. And so they start going up, and Auntie Sylvia starts making the cart rock, and Auntie Linda's sitting there, and she's laughing. And so my grandma's getting after Sylvia, telling her to stop. And so when the cart had stopped, shaken, Auntie Linda nudged Auntie Sylvia, and she told her, again. And they did that all the way to the top of the mountain. And when Auntie Sylvia was able to drive, they never hesitated, they never questioned, they all just got in the vehicle and off they went on a new adventure. They never missed a Siksiga powwow, they never missed a Kainai Christmas and New Year's Eve powwow. And, I would share so many stories, but we'd be here for hours. They loved each other dearly. They were more like sisters. And, the Golden Girls had a special bond that was completely unbreakable. And they lived their life to the fullest. I'd like to share a few words from my kids and myself as we seen Auntie Linda. She had the brightest and most heartwarming smile. Just being in her presence uplifted your spirit. She wasn't shy, very outspoken. She always knew exactly what she wanted, and she wasn't afraid to speak up for herself. She was so determined and strong-willed. She was such a loving, kind, and caring soul. And I wanted to thank her for accepting my children and myself as her own. And a few words from my grandma. All my greatest and happiest memories were shared with you. My heart aches knowing you are gone. I hold you close to my heart. You may be out of sight, but I know you'll be walking by my side as I carry on with my journey in life. A part of me is gone with you, and a part of you is still here with me. In a happy time, in a happier place, we will meet again. To her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, take care of each other, love each other, always be there for each other, and just know that you're not alone. We're all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Christina.
My apologies. I'm singing a different song. I couldn't find that other song. It was all in Blackfoot. I think I loaned it away and I didn't get it back. I know what it is to cry and feel the day I'd have to go. Looked around, but I couldn't see. But in the early morning light came to me a brand new sight, when his love came sweeping over me. And I feel it in the morning dew, makes the grass look like new. See it touch a heart full of pain. When I look around to see, Lord, then it comes to me, your love is just like diamonds in the rain. Seen the day I couldn't cry, seen the day I'd rather go. Wish there was a day I could be free. But then I saw a light break through, giving life I never knew. When his love came sweeping over me, and I feel it in the morning dew, makes the grass look like new. See it touch a heart full of pain. When I looked around to see, Lord, then it comes to me, your love is just like diamonds in the rain. Seen the day I couldn't cry, seen the day I'd rather go. Wish there was a day I could be free. But then I saw a light break through, giving life I never knew. When his love came sweeping over me, and I feel it in the morning dew, makes the grass look like new. See it touch a heart full of pain. When I looked around to see, Lord, then it comes to me, your love is just like diamonds in the rain. Your love is just like diamonds in the rain.
Thank you, Christina. There's still some more room up here. I'm gonna stay people in the back. There's still room up here. I'd like to call on Cadence, Tikwa, Leonard, Tim to come up and say a tribute to Grandma, Naa. If you want to come on up. These are grandchildren these are Jenny's sons and granddaughters.
Okay, everybody, and hello. Growing up, there's a lot of us grandkids that used to go to the north end to visit Naa, and I know there was too many of us sometimes because she was always yelling at us and getting mad at us to settle down, or sometimes we were playing too rough, and some of us couldn't all stay at her house sometimes. The ones that did listen were able to stay, and the ones that didn't listen, like myself, weren't able to stay. But there was a lot of great moments growing up in the North End and being kids out there with all my cousins. We shared a lot of memories with Naa. And then as years went on, I finally changed my ways around about 9 years ago. And I started living with Naa. Then she welcomed me into her house. Because I was listening at that time. Changed my crazy ways around. But I was able to learn how to cope with myself and deal with what I was going through, staying with Naa on the north end, on the north side of Lethbridge. And, being with her, she was strict, and we couldn't really have anybody come over, so it was just me and her all the time. And, sometimes I'd have dealing with some problems or issues, and she would sit down and talk to me, and I would share everything that I'm dealing with to her, and she would just listen. And at the end, she'll give me some advice to help me deal with what I was going through. And then I stayed with her till I went to film school. And with that too, she really pushed me to achieve that goal. I'll always remember the conversations we had. When I would cook for her at night, I'd cut up her food for her and talk to her and laugh. Sometimes late at night, I'll be trying to go to bed, and all of a sudden I hear Charlie Pride on. Just loud too. I'd walk upstairs, and, "What's going on?" And she'd look at me and smile. "Oh, I just found my cassette tape. I just thought I'd put it on." And she was smiling. It was Charlie Pride, "Kiss an Angel, Good Morning." "Grandma, it's 12 o'clock. I gotta go to work in the morning." Yeah, but I shared a lot of memories and moments with her. She was able to be around to meet my grandson and my son. She was a great, great grandmother. And we were able to have that moment and share those memories with her. We all miss Naa. We all have our good memories with her, our good crazy moments. I always remember the time I bought a Mustang, and it was a sporty car. It was really loud. And I pulled up and I told her, we're going to a dinner. And she said, oh, okay. She walked out. She's looking out her window. Whose car? I said, it's my car. Oh. I said, we're going to go up in that. She smiled. Okay. She got ready and then helped her get in the car, and I started it up, and it was really loud. She was really laughing and giggling. I said, oh, is this your car? Oh, it's really nice. She was really, and we took off, and it gets really loud when you get faster and stuff. And she was really smiling and laughing. We were driving up to my mom's for Christmas dinner. But yeah, I just wanted to share some of those moments and the times that we spent together, living together. The Christmases, the birthdays. She used to always get mad at me, and I never took her serious, and it's, she was such a loving, caring person. But yeah, I miss you, Na'a, and my girls wanted to share a poem that she'll share with y'all. Thanks.
My grandma wanted me and my sister to say a poem. Do you want to just both read it together? Go ahead. Okay. You are our world, our everything, the love you shared with all of us. Your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews, relatives, friends. You taught us to always try hard and to never give up. Na'a, you passed your knowledge and life experiences to all of us through your storytelling and the piercing sun dances you participated in. Na'a, you shared everything you possibly could. When times were hard and lonely, you kept your faith and kept going. You're very resilient. You fought to the end. We love you, Na'a. We'll never forget you. You're our spirit guide. You and Rianne. I love you, Na'a.
So there's another poem. Mom, now that I'm older, as I look back on the years, I begin to understand all my life you loved me. Only as a mother can. I see the love that surrounded the countless sleepless nights, the scraped knees and hurt feelings. Your hugs and kisses magically made right. Your sound advice and guidance when I really needed you, and happy days we spent together, talking and laughing as we do. The many times you went without to build a better life for me, your endless love has made a difference in who I've come to be. Mom, your love has came to a full circle. As I now love and honor you, you are always in my heart for all you are and all you do.
Thank you. Tim? You want to come on up? These are all the grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and as Leonard mentioned, she had great-great-grandchildren.
Okay, next collect. It's good to see everybody here today. A lot of faces I've been seeing for a while. I'd like to share some of what the teachings that, or just the upbringing that Mom gave me. So, as you all know, I spent the majority of my childhood with Mom, and she taught me a lot about family, the family gatherings we would have, all of us running around in the house during dinners, remembering all the laughter, the fun that we had. She didn't necessarily say that it was important. She showed us that being together at those times, that's what mattered, what matters. That's what's valued, is having all our family together, sharing those memories, going through all the seasons, every dinner, laughter, being able to lean on one another. I know that she'll be missed by a lot of people in here. Stories that she had shared with me growing up. Now that I look back at it, each and one of those stories has helped me to become who I am today. For instance, if I'm going through a hard time, if I'm dealing with something that I just can't sort out, I take time and I think about her stories, and I go through all of them, I sift through all of them, and one of them will pop up, and it'll be a resemblance of what I'm going through from what she or what she went through. Then I remember her tone when she's talking about it, and I imagine what she's thinking when she was going through that, and that helps me get through whatever I'm going through. Almost like a guide. All those memories and stories, to me, that's what's valuable. Those are priceless. It's a sad time for us, obviously, but I think too, I'd like to think that it's a family reunion on the other side for her. So I feel sad that she's gone, but at the same time, I can't be selfish. Because I like to think on the other side she's with Granny, Grandpa, Mara, Rayan. So that puts a smile on my face. But the memories that I'll always cherish are the ones where she's laughing, telling me crazy stories, and we're just on a short trip where I'm bringing her to get her blood work done. She always had a story, picking her up, bring her to Tim Hortons, get her coffee, her sandwich, her donut, and then another story would kick in. But one of my favorite stories is when her and the sisters decided to catch gophers and race them. So she must have told me this like maybe over 10 times. So I'll give you the short version of that. So one day, her and her sisters were out playing, and they decided to catch gophers. They were going to race them. So they all caught gophers. They all lined them up. They were counting down. 3, 2, 1. And they let their gophers go. They all had them by twine. And they all took off except for Mara's gopher. So Mara got upset. So they restarted. And Grandma said, I kind of seen what she picked up. She picked up something from the ground. And she looked at her hand, it was a hammer. She was wondering, what's she going to do with that? So they counted down again. 3, 2, 1, go. Everybody's gophers took off, except for Mara's again. So Mara swung that hammer on that gopher's head and popped the eyeballs off. Mara ended up crying. They're pretty scared because they didn't want to get in trouble for that. But just how she tells it, she's always killing herself laughing. And how she explains it, her eyeballs popped out and everything. Those stories I'll cherish the rest of my life. But yeah, I learned a lot life lessons through Mom. I don't think I would be where I am today or who I am today without her. Without her upbringing. Very first, I guess, introductory to not Duapi would be from her with Auch Kanitegs. I remember going to a sweat when I was just a kid, just tiny. She's telling me what I'm gonna experience, and if it gets too hot, just cover my head or lay down. But throughout the years, I went my own way on that path. And the encouragement, I'll never forget. With the ups and the downs. And she always had a way of explaining things that made sense to me. One of them is you can't always have the good without the bad. It's a balance. It's up to us how we react to that balance. So to all our family, the friends that are here, it's like to remind everybody here the values of life within our family. And I emphasize within our family. There's more than enough of us to get through all of this, the grieving, and it's nothing bad, it's part of life. But this is where family counts, where we can rely on each other. So, again, I like to leave off with that saying that I'd like to think that she's on the other side with the rest of the family that's gone before us. That she's happy. That they're all sitting around telling stories, laughing. There's no pain. There's no hunger. Just laughter. Good feelings. So that way, at the end of the day, we could rest with comfort knowing that that's where she is. And that she's looking down at all of us, proud, happy, content. Han.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, we'll have a song by Watson, and then we'll have another song from Christina. Can you hear that? Thank you, Watson, for the Amazing Grace presentation. I call on Christina to come and play the second song. Is that mic working? Let me just use that.
Check.
We all have our own special memories of Na'a. I have mine. She was a beautiful friend of mine. I'll never forget her beautiful smile. And an habsadoga hagascoat to bring her back home. And we can only embrace her in our hearts. Precious memories, unseen angels, sent from somewhere to my soul. How they linger ever near me, and the sacred paths unfold. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. Precious Father, loving Mother, fly across the lonely years, and the home scene of my childhood in fond memory appears. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of thy midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. Precious Father, loving Mother, fly across the lonely years, and the home scenes of my childhood in fond memory appears. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of thy midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. Precious sacred scenes unfold. Like I said, I'll never forget her beautiful smile. And always remember your beautiful family and the definition of unconditional love is na'a for all of you. She's an angel. Lord, take good care of her. Oh, she worked hard and shared the love that she had. She had some good times and some bad times, but the good time outweighs the bad. She's an angel. Lord, take good care of her. She's an angel. Lord, take good care of her. We know she's gone ahead to meet you, but we'll see her over there. She was an angel since God sent her. Oh, there's no need to say goodbye. She's an angel. Lord, take good care of her. Oh, Heavenly Father, lay your healing hands upon your beautiful children. Give them that courage, a special blessing for them to carry on. May they never forget Na'a's beautiful personality, her love, her courage, her joy. Who will sing Rock of Ages? And just as I am, she's an angel. Lord, take good care of her. She's an angel. Lord, take good care of her. We know she's gone ahead to meet you, but we'll see her over there. She was an angel since God sent her. Oh, there's no need to say goodbye. She's an angel. Lord, take good care of her. Yes, dear Lord, take good care of her.
Thank you, Christina and Watson. I'd like to call on Marty, Riker, and Lars to come up and say some tributing words to Na'a. Come on up.
Before I read this poem, I'd just like to say all the memories that we have with Na'a, and that we should always, cherish every little thing that comes to mind, whatever it may be. And whenever that memory comes to me, it's always good to know that she's close with us and in our hearts all the time. And it's always good to know that we had that time with her, and now she's with familiar faces, and she is watching over us. And whatever that memory may be you had with Na'a, always cherish that memory. And with my memory is going to be probably with the coal miner's daughter that I was speaking about last night, and Loretta Lynn. She's probably first row upstage with familiar faces and family as Loretta Lynn plays whatever song she liked. I made it home. I just wanted to let you know I made it home. The journey wasn't easy, but it didn't take too long. Everything is so beautiful here, so clear and present, so bright and cheerful, and yet so calm and comforting. I wish that you could close your eyes so you could see it too. Please try not to be sad for me. Try to understand. God is taking care of me. I'm in the shelter of His hands. Here there is no sadness, no sorrow, no pain. Here there is no crying, and I'll never hurt again. Here it is peaceful, when all the angels sing. I really have to go now. I just got to try my wings. Thank you.
Okay. For those that don't know me, my name is Lars. I'm Dexter and Trisha's oldest. When I was 11 years old, we moved into Grandma's house. With her, she would start telling me stories in Blackfoot. I didn't understand much of it, wasn't sure why she would. She knew that I didn't really know what she was saying. But looking back, now I realize that she was just trying to teach me. I did in fact appreciate all the stories in Blackfoot, and I'm glad she spoke to me in our language. Also, as my parents were heading to town for grocery shopping and whatnot, I'd not choose to stay home with Grandma, because I knew there's a good supper she was going to cook for us. I would always see her looking out the windows and wonder why, but after a month or two staying out there, I would catch myself doing the same thing. The scenery was so nice, it made me feel at peace. I remember one night I was sleeping, woke up and needed the washroom. I got up and Grandma must have been up as well. But I didn't hear her. As I came out of my bedroom, I almost bumped into her, and we startled each other and both screamed. All I heard was her saying something in Blackfoot, and then she stormed into her bedroom. The next day I was so nervous to see her. I remember when my parents got married, they went to the wedding party, and had some fun for about 4 days. But Grandma Linda was there to watch over us, all of us kids, while the adults were out having fun. She made sure we were fed and that we were okay. I will miss her very much. I want to thank her for everything she did for me.
Hello. I'll read this poem. It's called Her Smile. Though her smile is gone forever and her hand I cannot touch, I still have so many memories of the one I love so much. Her memory is now my keepsake, which with I'll never part. God has her in his hand, in his keeping. I have her in my heart. Sadly, she'll missed but never forgotten. And yeah, so she will be missed by all of us, and I know she had many friends and family to comfort her within these last very painful, strong months, but she's in a better place, so yeah.
Thanks, boys. I'd like to call on Patty Joe to come on up. And Josh, are you here? Okay, be after this. You know that song I like, You're Nothing But a Hound Dog. Can you sing that?
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see everybody gathered here for Na'ah today. It's not an easy thing being here and being up here especially. But I really loved Na'ah. She was really, really dear to me. She was every bit the grandmother that you would expect to be. She was always there for me whenever I needed. And she taught me a lot of really good things in life, things I still carry to this day. She taught me a lot about our traditional ways and values, and took me to ceremonies when I was a kid, and then gave me my Blackfoot name, Botaki. And it was because I would sing really loud in the ceremonies and in sweats. And so she gave me the name Botaki, flying woman, because she said that my voice really carried high. You know, just recently, we lost my sister, Rayanne. It's been really hard. It's been really hard, but I'm comforted in knowing that Na'ah is with her, that Na'ah waited for her, and that they're together watching over us. Sorry, this is just really hard. Na'a would always talk to me in Blackfoot, and half of what she was saying I never understood. I would just smile and say, ah. So I know if she was here right now, I know she'd be telling me a bunch of things, and I would be saying, ah. But I love Na'a so much, and just thank you all for being here. Please keep us in your prayers and thoughts. We will too. Thank you.
Okay, Josh? Na'a talked to everybody in Blackfoot, even Barb. And I don't know if Barb said or faked a laugh. I don't know. But Barb has that Blackfoot drawl. And Mysticus is trilingual, even 4, Japanese, English, Mi'kmaq, and Blackfoot. So Mysticus knows Aputskina, Punokamita, Pita, Ninastako, Oki, Sanitapi. So I can't say anything behind Mysticus' back because she knows what I'm talking about. But hers is real cool. Testing. Good enough here. I just don't know what school.
Heaven, beautiful heaven, heaven, beautiful heaven, it's our place I'll be. A place I'll be in heaven. Do not cry for me. Do not weep for me. I'm in heaven. Loved ones rejoicing for my coming day. Angels are dancing for my coming day. I'm in heaven. Heaven, beautiful heaven, heaven, beautiful heaven, heaven, beautiful heaven. I'm in heaven, heaven, beautiful heaven. Do not cry for me. Do not weep for me. I'm in heaven. 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 I'm in heaven. Heaven. Beautiful heaven. Do not cry for me. Do not weep for me. I'm in heaven.
Thank you, Josh, for a good song. Okay, I'd like to call on Hank. We'll support Hank and come pay a tribute. And I think I'm going to call on Darcy. Come up here too. Darcy, g'day tapas. Darcy around?
Okay. Lorelai's going to read a poem.
Hi, I'm Lorelai. Oh, Nuh-uh, I am missing you today, but I know you will always be with me in my heart. I am who I am because of your loving hands. I have my sweet and compassionate soul from watching you and your generosity and kindness to others. I see the world full of wonder because of your imagination. I've learned to never give up on seeing your drive and perseverance. I love you always and forever. Those special memories of you will always bring a smile. If only I could have you back for just a little while. Then we could sit and talk just like we used to. You always meant so very much and always will do too. The fact that you're no longer here will always cause me pain, but you're in my heart forever until we meet again.
Nah, I wasn't able to make it to my wedding, but Anika, she was supposed to pray, so Anika's going to say a prayer.
Ayo estabatubio gishimasho bina spomogena no shishigoi gemogena ishimasho ina sugapi ekanapi sugamodapi ayo gimotukena nananix assistananex nasananix Bisananix oki gamutan isami watabisen a.
Thank you.
Six. Imagine, I think she's 6 or 7. Not even hesitant to pray. And I think she just stole the show. Not on the tops. And that's what Grandma why she spoke Blackfoot to all of you, whether you understood her or not. She taught it to her very last breath, you know. Kame Gisogosanan, AIDS the Piatsimuik. Darcy, come up and say a few words. What's up? Darcy's been in BC, and I don't know if he's fixing a road over there, but
Okay, ni tāna ko ayok yok sekwan. I bom get up. The old lady was, she was one of her strengths in speaking the language. Gidetsi boy. She spoke it. She spoke it. That was her, one of her powerful things. She grew up with it. She came from Chief Moon. Chief Moon, relative to Red Crow, the one who signed the treaty. And that's where we all come from. We come from that branch of traditionalists. She had lots of stories to tell us about the old ways. But she always reminded us who we came from, the strength, the courage, and the honor of Chief Moon, all the way to Red Crow. And I feel it. I think everybody here in this room has felt it. They've all moved their own mountains. They all come from that strong line. And we don't stop. We just keep going. We keep moving mountains. She was a tough one to live that long. We should all be so lucky. Her life was a victory. It wasn't. It's not sad. It's a victory. We're all here, and we're all doing a great job, picking ourselves up, dusting ourselves off. That's one of the gifts, the strengths, and the powers that she's given us. Aitista, Igakimat, Minamatskochsik, Eskategit. Keep on going. It doesn't stop here. It keeps on going. So, long story short, I just wanted to. Mike put me on the spot. But I wanted to say the truth. We come from that really strong line. We don't give up. It's not about us, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's not about everyone in the world. We just do a good job because that's who we are. Everyone in here. We just do a good job because it's not about us. It's not about everyone else. That's just what we do. It's hard to stop. It's hard to talk up here when you get put on the spot. Jeez, it's hard to talk up here. I'm proud of her. I wouldn't be here without her. But it doesn't stop here. So, without further ado, keep your head up, keep your stick on the ice, steer clear of the trolley tracks, and full speed ahead, and keep your phasers on stun. Igakima.
You're on the spot kind of speaker. Darcy's those guys you call on the spot kind of speakers. Okay, I'd like to call on to say, recite the song Amazing Grace from Watson and Christina, and after that, call on Deanja, Kenny, and Mario to come on up. Okay, Watson, Christina. Yeah, Amazing Grace. Okay. Yeah, she'll sing it now. Yeah.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. And when this heart and flesh shall fail, and more to life shall cease, I shall possess within thy veil a life of joy and peace. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay, I'd like to call up DJ, Mario, Kenny, come on up. And Charles, after this. So whoever wants to go first.
Okay, Nestana Gok Natibixi. Na Nin Atsukomachgan na Nexist na Dutsaki. So Grandma Linda became my grandma when I was about 5 years old. So she welcomed me into the family. I remember all the gatherings, and I was probably one of the wildest kids there, but it kind of offset because I fit right in with Darcy, Leonard, Gordy. We were very almost the borderline ADHD. Just going through all my memories of Grandma, and I remember the car rides we'd take with her little truck through all of those rough roads in the north end, bouncing around, and I remember digging around in her cubby holes, but she always had patience for me when I was younger. She never yelled at me like the others. Wasn't until I became a teenager when she finally started getting after me. Like the time after Dexter and Trisha's wedding, and Gordy, Darcy, Leonard, me, we had some questionable choices there. Ended up stranded at the north end for the weekend. So I don't want to go into too much detail, but yeah, she that's when she got after us, and I was right in there included. But I remember living with her, she would live with us in standoff, and, she was always there when I got off the bus, and, everyone talks about these great meals, but she always just would cook what Mario wanted. He was very plain, so it was crackers and butter, hash brown patties and salt. So it was very plain eating. And then she would tell me to go outside without having to tell me to go outside, because we only had 3 channels at the time, and Young and the Restless would come on. So it was very boring inside with that. And then you get in, and geez, she would be mad. Something Victor was doing. So, with all these memories like that I can remember, but the big one was, and just how she was. She was very quiet. She wasn't intrusive in people's lives, and she would always just appreciate all her kids and grandkids and their accomplishments and what they were doing. And every year, she would be standing to me at the next bundle and just smiling at me while I was dancing. So, thanks.
My name is Mario. I had an opportunity to already speak last night, but one of the things I just wanted to come back to was hearing Christine talk about Grandma's smile and how infectious it was in her laugh. And we were talking about the story last night, Mike and Barbara. You might remember it from your wedding. We were at the wedding and over at Timber Limits there, and one of my cousins from the Fox side was there with us. and they're doing the ceremony, and my cousin, he reaches down and pick up a rock or, a dandelion or a piece of grass, I can't remember. And as he leans down to pick it up while he's sitting down, he lets out the longest and loudest fart I've ever heard before or since, I think. And, everybody heard it. And I think even the justice had to take a minute to compose himself so he could continue on with the ceremony. And I remember looking over at Grandma, and she's like falling out of her chair laughing, which made the rest of us laugh even harder. So, it was her laugh and her smile was very infectious, and you couldn't help but laugh and smile along with her, even if you didn't know what was going on. I just want to reiterate how lucky we are to have somebody like Grandma to go forward into that place to light our way for us, to create a place for us to be happy when we get there, when it's our time. In our language, it's not goodbye, it's I'll see you again. So, Grandma, I'll see you again. Thank you.
Ogining Shokoa. I asked Mario if I could borrow his speech from last night, but he wouldn't let me, so I had to prepare my own. Get gnagnak simchbowow, anoch kshistuko. Nistoagoki domsagatsi. My name is DJ. I'm the daughter of Clark, Grandma's handsomer son. And just kidding, uncles, you all look like hillbillies. So throughout last night and today, we heard speeches and talks about our shared traits with Grandma and how much we all look up to her. And I look up to each and every one of you for all those traits that you have of her. I didn't get the gift of being silly funny. I didn't get the gift of gab. I did inherit some weird nerd qualities from Clark, so if you want to chat about science and climate change later, I'll be in the back corner, probably beside him. All these qualities that we've heard of Grandma through the stories shared by her loved ones, qualities that we all share. She was stubborn, and she had grit and tenacity, and she never gave up. And most of all, she loved fiercely and loyally. She lived a life that proved that you did not have to be large in stature to be mighty in spirit. She's one of the smallest and gentlest ladies, and she never let residential school take her, and she never let the nursing home take her either. Some of my earliest memories were being held by Grandma. We visited a ton at her North End house. I loved the barbecues and the family get-togethers, playing with the other cousins outside, making each other cry, telling each other, don't tell your parents, don't tell Grandma. We were wild because the land was wild, and importantly, we were allowed to be wild, unlike our parents and our grandparents who endured the boarding schools. Our family is built around a matriarch, and Linda held us together like gorilla glue. Our common theme as cousins is that she was our babysitter. Her and Maura would come and watch me and Mario and Kenny, and I'm sure many of you have heard the story of when Maura had to do her laundry and she had to hang up some of her delicates outside. And unfortunately, we had some young German Shepherd puppies who didn't understand the importance of delicates. And so we saw Maura having to run after the dogs to get her delicates back. However, I have another story of Grandma, and this one involves Clark. The brother that's not all there, literally. So my dad decided to get horses when his kids were too old to be rodeo stars. Sorry, Dad. You might be aware that my family had the privilege of growing up in the house Linda and Chester built in Standoff, in the horse arena, if you read the eulogy. And let me tell you, I haven't met anyone on this reserve who hasn't been in that house for childhood sleepovers or a good party. I digress. Clark loves our horses, and he'd teach me and Mario and Kenny how to take care of them. And one day while Grandma was visiting our house in Standoff, he decided that was a day he'd tie up our Arabian to brush her or something. And while he was doing that, she got bit by a wasp, and she pulled at the rope while his fingers were still in there. We all heard Clark just start swearing away from inside the house. Figuring out what happened, Mom called the ambulance, and the paramedics soon took over because they're only 5 minutes away, from the fireplace or fire. Anyways, they took over the situation immediately, and Mom was panicking, where Dad had to just look at her and say, "This is not your finger." Okay, so she kind of backed off. But then there was Grandma, who had hopped into the ambulance with Dad and was looking over the shoulders of the paramedics. What's going on? Where Dad had to kind of chase her away too. You're kind of getting in the way. But don't worry, we did manage to put him all back together, mostly. And she was a grandma that was always there. Birthdays, Christmases, family get-togethers. And she was just happy to always be with family. One thing I heard last night was some regret, and I share in that. Grandma lived so many lives, and my own regret is that I didn't know her Sundance life. And so with that, I'd like to visit the piercing Sundance ceremony that she went to. And if those who go can keep me in mind to let me know when and where it is, I'd really appreciate it. She was the small woman with the bright, contagious laugh. Her stories had you laughing with her and then shaking your head in disbelief and gasping with her. And, I would sit with her and I would nod, thinking as she spoke Blackfoot to me. And I was one of the younger grandchildren. I thought, well, maybe she did that to the older grandchildren and they all learned Blackfoot. So now I'm learning all of you faked it. Thank you. She was the woman who taught us to play solitaire with real cards. And she taught us how to live long and fully and tenaciously with love and grit. So I will leave you with the words of the poet, W.H. Auden. Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone, silence the pianos and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. Let aeroplanes circle moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, she is dead. Put crepe bows around the white necks of public doves. Let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. She was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good. Gitsikako, Grandma, we will dearly miss you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call on Charles to come up. Sing a Charlie Pride. Yeah.
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above, and for a moment all the world was right. How could I have known you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could miss the pain, but I'd had to miss the dance. Holding you, and I held everything, and for a moment wasn't I the king? And if I'd only known how the king would fall, yeah, who's to say? You know I might have changed it all. And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. It's my life, it's better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance.
Thank you, Charles. I'd like to call on Tasha, Billy Joe, Ashley, Jimmy Beth. Come on up.
Hello, just want to say thank you for everybody coming today. Met my grandma when I was 18, and I don't know if I really knew if she knew who I was, but I remember finding her at different events and stuff, and it didn't matter. She always made me feel welcome and loved, and just wanted to share that. So, thank you.
Oki Exuxpanima. I'm the daughter of Jordan and March Fox. It's really special to see everybody here today. All my cousins, and she touched everyone here. She made us all feel special, and her smile was contagious. We all felt it. We felt her love. My older sisters, Kim and Jody, were always at Grandma's house. And this one weekend, Grandma told my dad, we're going to go to the Sundance, go pick up BJ. So my sisters all had to ride in the back, and we're going to the Sundance. And my dad said, I'm going to let you drive. I was really excited. I was like, all right. Like my cousin Tim said, we really loved the gopher. So I was sitting there, and I could barely see over the ledge. And I swerved, and we just about lost Grandma. And she goes, and she's getting really, she started laughing, and she didn't get mad at me. She got mad at my dad. And we were all laughing, and as soon as we get to the Sundance, everyone came to greet her, and she had a really powerful role in the Sundance, and she taught us all beautiful things. I'm just gonna say these lyrics from her favorite singers, Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, and Tammy Wynette. Let her fly. There's a wreath on the door. She don't live there anymore. Excuse me. As of today, she flew home, and we all gathered here in sorrow and tears. It won't be the same with her gone. There's a place on the hill that's peaceful and still, where she'll sleep beside Daddy again. The old family tree is shedding its leaves, but we'll all meet in heaven again. Oh, she's an angel. Let her fly. Let her fly. She's gone home to glory, to her home in the sky. When God sees her coming, heaven's choir will smile and sing. Oh, she's an angel. Let her fly. Let her fly. She used to rock us when we were children, sing Rock of Ages and the sweetest by and by. Her life wasn't easy. Oh, but how she had tried. She's an angel, Lord, so let her fly. Oh, she's an angel, let her fly. She's gone home to glory, to her home in the sky. When God sees her coming, heaven's choir will smile and sing, oh, she's an angel, let her fly, let her fly. She's in a good place right now with her family, and just thank you, everybody, and again.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I just wanted to share a poem. When tomorrow starts without me. When tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not here to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes all filled with tears for me, I wish you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we did not get to say. I know how much you love me as much as I love you. Each time that you think of me, I know you will miss me too. When tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand. The angel said my place was ready in heaven far above, and that I would have to leave behind all those I dearly love. So when tomorrow starts without me, do not think we're apart, for every time you think of me, remember I'm right here in your heart. And I just want to say that I'm grateful to have had Linda as a grandmother, and what an honor it is to have such a resilient woman in our heritage. We are so blessed to have her and to have had her in our corner. We love you, Na'a.
I'm talking on behalf of my family. I have a lot of
memories with her. My favorite one that I cherish the most is she never pronounced my name right or remember it. She used to always call me girl or my girl. When I'm around her, she'd think about my name and I just hear girl and I respond to it. I have a few more I cherish with her. One I keep thinking back about is during Sundance, Ako Gatson. I saw her sing in the audience by herself, so I sat by her. And it was berry soup day and fry bread. And I was pulling out my bowls for the berry soup, and she pulled out this great big bowl, that big, this wide, and she kept telling that guy who was serving, just keep going, keep filling it up, filling it up, filling it up, to the point it was almost overflowing, and it was really funny. And then we watched the horns dance, and she had her great big bowl in her lap, eating her small pieces of fry bread. And last night, I sang for her by myself. It was nerve-wracking, but she always encouraged me to sing. She loved it when I singed. And with that, I cherish all those memories.
Well, those are Jordan's children, son Tyson. Tyson Ansta itupump substima. I gave him that name when I went to London and I filled a pipe for Laurie Prum and the other elders in 1982. So I gave him that name. Very original and pretty hard to steal that name. So, I'm going to call on Josh to come up, say a song, and then the obituary, and then I'll sing a song here. While I'm singing, the Martin Brothers staff will take the coffin and open it in the back, and once that's closed, then the drummers will start outside. So, you know, I'm glad all of you are sitting through this. And, yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah, the obituary. And so after Josh is the obituary, and Michelle, Charlene, Miles, and Joey, be ready. And just before Josh sings, the reason I got Billy Wadsworth from the Bullhorn Drummers, his dad, Lucius, kind of grew up around Bossman and Na'a down at North End. And he too has a lot of stories, especially when they first start living together. And there's stories that I think we need to take Lucius too. When he was a young guy and he worked down at the band ranch and he'd ride over and sleep at the log house or, you know, stay with us a few days. And so he's got some history. Nakasikimi. And I kind of remember when he was around. So that's why I got Billy, you know, to sing the song, the drum song. Okay? Yeah, just push back a bit.
Lord, you done so much for me, I could never repay. I would never give you up. You mean too much to me. You have saved and changed my life from sin in the darkness night. By faith I've been set free. My heart, you're always there, and I can feel your spirit moving over me, burning in my soul, like fire in my bone. You know my heart's desire is all I've ever known. You will always be the one who saved my soul. You will always be the one who saved my soul. There's a song that I sang last night. I'll sing that song again. So one of these days that, you know, that we're gonna cross that river. I traveled to a community in New Mexico called Alamo, New Mexico, and the Navajo Nation. And this song I picked up from there by a guy named Fred Baca that passed away 2004. He sang this song that night. The next day he passed away. One of these days I'll cross the river to my home on the other side, and I will be with Jesus forever. No more tears to fill my eyes. I have loved ones have gone on before me. There were times I missed them so, but Jesus promised He's coming again. We will meet them on the blessed shore. One of these days I'll cross the river to my home on the other side, and I will be with Jesus forever. No more tears to fill my eyes. No more tears to fill my eyes. No more tears to fill my eyes. From the Curly Rider family, it's like to send our condolences to every one of you today.
Thank you, Josh. It's always a pleasure to hear your voice and your songs. And we have some family from the Escott, Many Gray Horses family sitting in the back. Chief Moon, Curly Riding, Skakes Oak Group. I would like to call on my children, Michelle, Charlene, Miles, and Joey, to come up and read the obituary and say a few words on behalf of Grandma. test. Testing. Can you hear me? Test.
Hello? No, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, nistorna koki gitstakiaki. Ntiktaksi taki. Niksokoix. Last night, for those of you who were here, you missed a good celebration. But for those of you here, I'll say everything I said last night, so you're all included. Just kidding, Jimmy. I got in trouble because I was told to behave up here. And like I said, those of you who were here last night know why. But one thing I wanted to mention about Grandma Linda, and I saw Harriet back there, and also I know the late Odile, her daughters were here. I don't know if they're still here, but it's not in the pictures there. But there was a brief time that the Golden Girls, including Odile, the late Odile, her good friend, they participated in this work group. It was called the Aboriginal Women's Support Network here for Lethbridge Indigenous women. And those women together were a really strong support for beyond our family, our relatives, but women here in the community. But I have to tell you this really cute story one time. I forget the lady's name, but she was Métis or something. Foggin. Thank goodness it came to me. Audra Foggin. I wasn't swearing, you guys, I promise. Anyways, Audra came, and she came to the group. It was with the Aboriginal Council of Lethbridge. And what our whole goal was to work with the women and to connect them to one another and be able to ask the elders, the ladies, questions from a woman's perspective. And that was one thing. If I've invited Grandma Linda alone, she wouldn't come. But when she had her entourage, the Golden Girls, then they were all in. So sometimes Sylvia would drive them, or I would pick them up, and I would go around. So I got to know the late Odile really well during that time. She was so funny. She was so crazy. So Grandma Linda was kind of the quiet one out of it, and she would just sit there and laugh at them, and the rest would carry on. And Harriet would kind of side-eye looking at Sylvia, and Odile carry on. But anyways, this Audra Foggin, she brought in these soup cans. And they were sitting around. We were talking about women's wellness, things to do when you're around at home. And if you remember Grandma, everybody knows her slippers and that kind of little shuffle we got used to seeing in her later years. She would kind of shuffle through the house. I always wondered if she walked around the block, but I don't think she did, but she would shuffle from one window to the other. So when Lars was talking about her looking out the window, that's what she would do at her north side home. But anyways, so these ladies were sitting there, and I don't have the picture, but I know it's somewhere. But they were all laughing, and I don't know why they found it so funny. And Grandma, geez, I think then that would have been in 2008 to 2013. And she was really lifting these soup cans, and it was the cutest thing ever, but they were laughing at each other doing it, and they were in their way hot. They were kind of looking, but they were mocking each other. So with your peers, you know, when you get around your peers and you think about how you revert back to your own, you know, way of being, and engaging, just remember, you know, go to those who you feel comfort. If it's not, you know, your spouse or your children, and take that time for yourself. But the last thing I wanted to share, sorry, I can't not talk. But Grandma, one time at Michelle, at the Cross Childs, at Michelle and Wes's place, they were celebrating Sky and Kenzie's birthday. I'm pretty sure Dexter and Trish were there. I'm not too sure. Some of the family gatherings meshed together. But anyways, somebody was taking Grandma home, and everything is kind of helping, just sitting around, probably being lazy or eating again. When everybody left. So I was ready to go, and there was wicked shoes by the door. Like as you would come in, they would just the door would just push them all. So they were all there. Somebody helped Grandma find her shoes. And all said and done, when I was ready to go, I went and got my shoes on. And Grandma Linda, there's a bad trick somebody played on me when I was a little girl with my socks while I was sleeping. They cut off the toes. So this was like trauma. When I went to put on my shoes, and I thought, did I eat too much? But my shoes didn't fit, and I was looking at them. I was like, yeah, these are my shoes. I thought, am I blacking out? Like, I thought, what kind of trick are you guys playing on me? So all of a sudden I had no shoes, and I was calling around, and I was like, what did you guys do? And then I don't know how we figured it out, but finally somebody got a hold of Grandma Linda, and here she had took my shoes. We had the exact same shoes. So I like to think like I've told all my cousins, I was her favorite. We shared clothes and fashion. No, I just tell myself that because I don't have a lot of the Bruised Head Chief Moon talent. So anyways, so Grandma was wearing size 9 shoes, and she was asking herself, like, they were, I guess her heels were coming out as she was walking down the stairs, but she still was determined that those were her shoes. And meanwhile, I was there, size 7s, and I couldn't get my shoes on, and I thought, this is messed up. I'm not even going to try. So traumatized. But anyways, I wanted to share that last night. We were put on the spot, and that was one of the few things. But then when we brought her shoes, just like everybody else has shared, Grandma's giggle. She kind of chuckled. It wasn't even an apology, or wasn't even she just kind of chuckled and laughed. And looking at Trish, I just wanted to thank her for all that she does for me as my aunt. And she's got a very similar smile, her and Dexter. You know when couples, they start to look alike? But they're both smirking at me right now. But anyways, I won't share too much. My siblings, Missigus, Joey, Miles, and Michelle are going to share the obituary with you. So thank you for letting me be on the mic again.
Are we going to do the...
You can say something.
Well, I'm going to say something before I say some things. Jokes. No, anyways, Grandma Linda... like she raised a bunch of us, hey? Like, well, all of us here. But also, especially me, like I always made it my point to make sure she laughed every time I was around her, hey? But I did some really messed up things in my past, like not like bad stuff, but like she always was just so funny and whatnot. And she got my humor, hey? So like for Grandma Linda, every time I met her and whatnot, I always tried to just make her laugh, Because she had to raise a lot of us, this isn't a church, hey? A lot of us shit asses, hey? So that's like, just the resilience she has, and even myself, going through like my whole history and whatnot, like she was resilient, She went through so much, even then in her last dying days, just seeing that profound notion that, she existed. She was true Nitsitibi, She was Blackfoot through and through. So, Ganamok, I'm really proud that we're still all here and that we're remembering her for what she was. Because she lived a long, strong, hard life. And a lot of us need to pick up and just consider that, she did it. And without her, we wouldn't be here. Again? Stand on the stool.
No, I just really want to say how much it means to be called up here with my siblings, and a huge thank you to our dad Mike and Grandma for always including me. It was never an issue about not being her biological grandson. I never felt that. I always felt welcome by the whole family, the uncles, the aunties, even seeing them in public. Just joy that they would get in seeing me and making me feel welcome. It was really something to hear all the stories yesterday and how much Grandma meant to everybody, and again seeing how many people are here. it's very rewarding to know that Grandma meant a lot to a lot of people. And again, really appreciate everybody coming here. And just thinking back to when we were at the hospital, I only got a chance to go see her the one day, and that really meant a lot when I got to see her, and her being able to see me that one last time. And turns out the day that I went, everyone decided to be rank and tell rank jokes and laugh around. But it was also nice to hear that, I think Grandma hearing all that laughter, that taking joy in the fact that she must have felt comfort knowing that she was able to go on in a good way, hearing all of us laugh that day I was there in the hospital. And I know we kept poking fun at Clark, Iceman, I think that was his name. And I also like to share that it was nice to know that Grandma had some kind of, she was a fan of Loretta Lynn. I was a huge fan of Loretta Lynn. She was my first wife. My first runaround. No, and I strongly believe that song "Hello, Darling" was about me. You know, she was missing me, so she wrote that song. No, she sang that song. No, but again, I just want to thank everybody, and again, thank you, Grandma, for always including me, and to the family for always including me, and never making me feel unwelcome. So with that, kitsikako mem han.
The stool works for me. I think just going on what Joey was saying, even though I wasn't blood related to Na'a, she always took me in from when I was a little girl. And yeah, I remember I had, I don't know if I was turning 12 or 10, I had one of my birthdays at her house, and all my friends were there, and we just came back from bowling. And we had pizza and everything, and it was just so nice being around her and hearing her laugh and her gentleness. Yeah, she took me in when I needed her, and, you know, thanks to her, I get to be part of this big family with everyone here. And I appreciate my siblings. They can be funny and silly when we need them to be. But yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today.
She's going to sing. She's clearing her voice. No, I'm not a singer. I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. And it's so nice to see all my cousins and all my family, my uncles and aunties, and just all the extended family, my grandma's friends. And I was her third oldest grandchild, and I really spent a lot of time with her. My parents lived with her when I was born, and then it's like she had a hand in raising me, and I really, you know, all through my life, she's been there. I remember when she was living in the North End, and my dad had this blue truck, and I think I was only like 9 or 10, and I would drive over to her house, and Charlene and even some of my cousins, they would be at the back, and I didn't really know, like I knew how to drive, but I didn't understand about like going fast and slow, and I would just be flying over bumps and stuff, and they're just all bouncing around in the back, and we were so dangerous. But I remember getting to Grandma's house, and of course she was looking out the window watching us, and she got after me for putting everybody in danger. So but my defense was, well, I think I was only 9 driving my dad's truck, but it was fun. That's how we learned. And I just remember this other time, like Grandma was so little. Once we got older, I didn't realize how small she was, and it was so funny. it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and we were at a sweat at Clark and Annette's, and I was really, it was just after Sundance, and I had this wicked sinus and chest cold, and I was sick, and then we had gone there, and she saw me, and of course, in Grandma's way, she always wanted to take care of you. And then, so she told me to come outside, and everybody was just like kind of around, and from our group, and we were getting ready to eat, and she brought me to, I can't remember whose vehicle it was, but she came with them, and next thing she pulls out her Vicks. And she wasn't even discreet about it. She just started going down my shirt, and she's so little, she's really, and she's rubbing it all over my chest. And I was trying to hide, hey, because she was really pulling my chest down. But it was so funny. It was just like, well, that's how Grandma was. She was always ready to take care of you, and then she gave her Vicks to me, and she's telling me what to do, and when I get home and everything, how to take care of myself. And I remember when I was younger, when I'd be sick, I remember this one time, I think I was only 7 years old, and we were in the log, I was at the log cabin, and boss man had his bed there. And I remember waking up from, because I was out, and I remember waking up, and then just Grandma and boss man were sitting there, and I was like, because I knew that they weren't, together and stuff, but they both came together. I think I was a little older, though. I don't think I was 7. I think I was about 12 years old or something. Anyways, but they came, to me it felt like they came together to take care of me. And they were both like, Grandma was steaming me, and like just boss man was just there, just making sure I was comfortable. And those are these memories are so dear to me that I'm so glad that I was able to, I'm in my 40s now, and I got to spend so much time with our grandparents. And my daughter, she had asked me, we were talking about Grandma, and she had asked me, was Grandma alive in World War I? And I just her innocence, like asking questions, and I told her no, but we had a little talk. But then I started realizing, geez, Grandma was born in 1934, and she sure lived through a lot. She lived through almost like the end of the Depression, World War II, the Beatles. And to me, it kind of makes me sad now, because I never asked her about these certain events that she had lived through, and that if it affected their family, but it was just kind of neat that my daughter brought that up, like her intuition and wanting to know these things. But it was just, again, I'm really happy that everybody came together for her, and we're gonna read the obituary now. So if my sister would start, yeah. And then we'll all take turns.
Natikopui. Linda Bruised, Na'a, 1934 to 2022. Just quickly, I wanted to thank you all for your time and for allowing us to go through everything we did today because of her whole life. We could stay here all day and celebrate her life for 3 more days with all the stories. So I just appreciate your time. This was combined, all the family sending their stories, all the children, their grandchildren. So we'll read this now. Linda Bruised, I'm gonna mess up her name. Natikapui 2 coming in, passed away peacefully at the age of 88 on October 4th, 2022, due to a lengthy illness. She was surrounded by all her children, family, and close friends. She was born at the Indian Hospital Blood Reserve on September 28th, 1934, to the late Victor and Mary Chief Moon. Na'a was survived by her sister Claudia Sugai, her children Jordan Bruised, Susan, Mike Bruised, Barb, Clark Bruised, Annette, Jenny Bruised, Watson, Benita Creighton, Winnow, Byron Bruised, Michelle, and Dexter Bruised, Trish. Na'a was survived by many grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. Na'a, a great-granddaughter, was predeceased by her great-grandfather, Chief Red Crow, grandfather Chief Moon, and parents Victor and Mary Chief Moon. Siblings Tom Holy Singer, Leo Chief Moon, Julia Morgan, Helen Rogers, Mona Chief Moon, Grace Chief Moon, Ella shot both sides, Rose Chief Moon, and Myra Chief Moon. Na'a was predeceased also by her son, Chester Jr. Bruised, daughter Teresa, and son, baby boy Bruised. Na'a had many adopted children in our traditional ways: Gus Manybears, Casey and Carrie Scott, Tom Russell, Merle Bighead, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Dwayne shot both sides, Jimmy Chief Moon, Donna Plum, Myra Eagle Speaker, Tom Russell, Charlie Leather, Ike Soloway, and many more. Na'a took all of her nieces and nephews as her own. As a child, Na'a was sick at a very young age. As a result of her tonsils and being sick, she had rheumatic heart fever. She was always sick at a young age, but despite experiencing sickness young, Na'a and her sisters were always riding horses. She would talk about when she was young, her and her sister Ella would ride bareback around the Vern area.
Sometimes they would go down to the water, berry picking, and always explore as young girls. Her and Ella would snare gophers and make them race, till one day, accidentally, Ella killed her gopher. She told these memories that she would ride as fast as she could because she liked the wind in her face, and she would giggle her Na'a. She would giggle her Na'a giggle, retelling these stories to her family in her older years. Na'a and her sister were all hard workers, as they would help their dads, Victor, and they all knew how to break horses. Na'a even talked about driving tractor as a young girl because her older brothers had moved out and had out their own families, farms, and horses. Na'a and her sisters would always help their mother Mary, known as Granny, to her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and would always have a huge garden and taught Na'a and her siblings to garden a lot of the family's extra foods. In her younger years, Na'a's baby sister babysat Joyce Beavers. Joyce Beavers, Lorraine Wilton, good striker. Family members hearing about Na'a went to Lethbridge Stampede in horse and buggy and would camp until it was over. Her childhood name was Bikanaki. That's what Uncle John knew her when she was young. One of her childhood friends was Bernadette Morning Owl, who later became her sister-in-law when Bernadette married Linda's brother, Leo Chiefmoon. She attended St. Paul's Anglican Residential School. She later attended Agnes Davidson School to complete upgrading. She later met her husband, Chester Bruised, boss man, in Cardston. She had to study 1 year at St. Mary's Residential School in order to marry.
Completing catechism and become baptized, she then married. Her dad, Victor Chiefmoon, had many horses, and he gave her horses as a wedding present. As a skilled horsewoman, Na'a bought 15 of her own horses when she married Boss Man. They moved down to the North End Blood Reserve by Boss Man's grandparents.
Boss Man's grandparents, Louise Spotted Eagle and Mike Blood. When they started living together, she only stopped riding when she was expecting. Na'a had a tiny picture displayed at her home of her last time riding a horse. She was about 43 years old. One funny moment family recall was when she was told the story about her and her sister Mona. They got all dressed up for the powwow. While crossing the river, which was the shortest way to get to where they were going, the truck stalled. Boss Man grabbed the babies and left Mona and Na'a to get across the river in their high heels and nylons. She worked at McGrath Cannery at some point during her working career. In the 70s, Linda moved to Townsite and worked on the Blood Tribe Administration Office and worked with Peggy and Linda Eagle Speaker. She also worked and shared how she enjoyed all of the coworkers at the band office. In the early 80s, she worked at the Mataki potato farms on Blood Tribe. During one winter, she lived at Leo Chiefmoon's house in Laverne area. It was an isolated area from her parents' place. She ran out of firewood, and she told this experience of going over to the now late Rufus Goodstriker's fence line and choosing to pull out a few posts for firewood. She felt remorse, but she was resourceful and knew how to survive, provide, and care for herself and the family. Besides being a knowledgeable horsewoman, she was also a good seamstress, a good homemaker, and a good cook, always dressing well and taking care, and always tidy. When she was young, the eldest son recalls being taken by horseback to school from Gladstone Hall to St. Mary's Residential School. When she was working in McGrath, she found a place in Moses Lake, and the kids would come home on weekends from St. Mary's Residential School.
Due to the far location of the North End and work being available in Standoff, Linda had secured the building of the new family home in Lower Standoff. Her youngest son shared how Boss Man left the location up to Na'a and how stubbornly placed the house right in the middle of Boss Man's riding arena. But it was too late for the changes to be made. This was a funny story that only friends and family would understand. In her late 60s, Linda and sister Julia Borgen were sundancing, piercing. They went through the Sundance, never complained, and showed so much strength and determination. She was a leader with the women and taught many of the ladies their roles. When the late Morris Crow hosted Sundance, she would bring food and support her children who were involved. Linda was late in learning to drive, and she was very happy to be independent and received her drivers. After receiving her drivers and her newfound independence, she had a few gentle used cars. She eventually got a brand new red truck all on her own and was so proud of herself that it took her to powwows, bingos, and to Gleason to visit her good friend Edith. In the late years, as a grandmother and great-grandmother, Na'a always enjoyed family, barbecues, and holidays. They were everybody's favorite, as Na'a would cook and feed everybody. Na'a supported all her children and grandchildren in rodeo. She was happy to be picked up and traveled to watch all her family rodeo. Na'a traveled to Albuquerque, New Mexico, Las Vegas Indian National Finals and Crow Agency, Montana, and many local places, including the Calgary Stampede, to watch her family rodeo.
Na'a had such strong values that she passed on throughout the family, as many have a piece of her personality. Her second oldest son remembers Na'a always encouraged her kids to get educated and taught everyone to work hard. Her kids remember her always feeding everyone as all the uncles and aunties and cousins would drop in and Grandma would be cooking for everyone. Grandma's house is remembered as being fun. the outdoors always being a safe place to adventure and explore. Little did we realize how much of Na'a's fearlessness, adventurous nature, work ethic, and spirit lives through so many of her children, great-grandchildren. Her oldest daughter remembers Na'a always encouraging her family and friends to try hard and never give up. No matter what lies ahead of you, you can do it with the power of prayer, strength, and humbleness. Na'a raised her grandchildren closely and spent a lot of time with the firstborn grandchildren of each of her children. To name a few, Kim, Michelle, Tim, Mario, Patty Joe, Hank, and Craig, to help her children as new parents. Na'a had a special bond with all her grandchildren, great and great-grandchildren. Due to some health reasons, in 1993, Na'a had to move from her North End Blood Reserve home in Lethbridge. The snow and rainy road conditions had prevented her, in an emergency situation, to be able to get emergency help. Upon moving to Lethbridge, she was involved with many of the community groups, such as the Friendship Center Elders Group, the Sewing Club, the Canadian Red Cross Aboriginal Women's Support Network Group, and Seniors Group. Na'a spoke the truth and did not like to be put in front of public. She would be invited to schools where she would talk to the students, modest and shy at first, but enjoyed getting out and sharing. She had numerous close friends: Loretta Eagletail Feathers, Sylvia Yellow Old Woman, the late Odile Big Wolf, Auntie Harriet Wells, Uncle Harold, and Katie Strangling Wolf. Moving to Lethbridge allowed her and her sister Claudia lots of time together. Lightheartedly, the family would chuckle about how the mischievous pair would spend some of their free time. Na'a took great pride in her enjoyment of puzzles. It would amaze everyone as she would display and frame them. Na'a's relatives are the Chief Moons, Wells, Tail Feathers, Holy Singer, and Curly Riders. Her close friends, to name a few, were Peggy Eagle Speaker, Maddie Plaited Hair, Linda Eagle Speaker, Beatrice Big Sore Horse, Mary Steele, Loretta Eagletail Feather, Sylvia Yellow Old Woman, late Clifford Many Guns, his wife, sister-in-law Isabel Langford, brother-in-laws Everett, Joe, Peter, Norbert, Regis, Bruised. Na'a lived out her last days with visits from her children, her sister Claudia, and numerous family. The family apologizes for any family and friends we may have missed. The family would also like to thank the nurses and doctors, cleaning staff, and all her roommates at Lethbridge Regional Hospital, Floor C. They took care of Na'a with a lot of TLC. We will never forget the staff. You were there for Na'a at the lowest and highest moments of her life. We appreciate and love you all. Thank you. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's on. Oh, my sister just reminded me of how strong my grandmother was. I'm not sure what the date was, but she one of her vows was to fast on Chief Mountain, and she did it for 4 days and 4 nights by herself, and the things like that she did. She was just an amazing woman, and we're all gonna miss her so much. So just keep her in your prayers, and thank you all for coming.
So we're coming to a close, today's tribute to Na'a. There's some items over there, and even up here. Anybody wants to take some of these items, you're more than welcome. Hats, jacket, scarf. The other table is a souvenir. You know, yesterday took a little brown candle holder. And it's almost like you sleep on it, and the next day it has a different meaning. And this morning I was on my kitchen table and thought about it. You know, these are things that touch, own, bought, wherever. Those little things mean this much. So you're more than welcome to take a little bit of home with you. And I guess we're going to conclude. I'm going to sing a song. And while I'm singing, the staff here will take the coffin to the back. Family first, they'll open it in the back. Soon as it's closed, then the Billy Wadsworth and the bullhorn drummers will sing outside. Then we will proceed on 509, and I call it the other day, her last ride on the Blood Reserve to her resting place out this Sault La Berne, Pioneer Cemetery. After that, you're all invited to the Gladstone Hall, just a few minutes back down the road. Have a feast with us and get to meet family in a casual environment situation. So staff, Triano, go ahead. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Hey, Yeah, yeah, ay, ay, yo, ay, yo, ay, ay, yo. Hey, hey, hey.